Final Fantasy XII is one of the most ambitious entries in the series. Well, this has become a pattern of Square Enix, a game that dared to reinvent combat, politics, and world building in ways fans had never seen before. But beneath its sprawling landscapes and high-stakes narrative lies a treasure trove of secrets, obscure details, and development quirks that most players overlook. Today, we are going to be uncovering 5 obscure facts about Final Fantasy XII that reveal just how deep the world of Ivalice truly goes. This is not a series I often do on the channel, so if you enjoy this kind of video and want to see more of it, leave a like and comment any obscure facts that you have about this game or any other Final Fantasy entries, and I will feature it in future videos. Rabanastre, the bustling heart of Dalmasca, feels more alive than most RPG towns of its era. Citizens wander realistically, merchants open and close shops depending on the time of day, and guards patrol the streets. But under the hood, the city is also filled with hundreds of invisible, dummy NPCs, placeholders used to test pathing and traffic during development. These can still be found in the game's code. It's a glimpse into the simulation-like approach Square Enix took, showing how far the team went to make Rabanastre feel like a living, breathing city long before open worlds became the norm of RPG games. For a game that came out in 2006, this was quite the endeavor, and it really showed how much the developers were looking to test the limits and capabilities of the modern technology at this time. As someone who was very young when I first played Final Fantasy XII, I never realized that such a small feature would make a big difference in the overall playing experience in the games, as we always enjoyed its more immersive features. Nothing says immersion more than being in the world where the people each have their own routines and lives. The Judge Magisters are iconic symbols of Arcadian power, but their design hides a cultural nod. Their ornate armor was inspired by traditional Balinese ceremonial attire, a choice that makes sense when you consider Yasumi Matsuno's tendency to root Ivalice in real-world cultures. The elaborate patterns and towering shapes give the judges a ritualistic quality, reinforcing their role not just as soldiers, but as enforcers of the law and order in a society steeped in ceremony and control. Its very decorative yet subtle design made the Judge Magisters very intimidating. It's almost as if they are different characters when they have the helmet on versus when it is removed. A good example of this is the scene where Judge Drace gets executed. When she had her mask on for one cutscene, she showcased her loyalty to the job of protecting Larsa as instructed. But with the mask off, we see a more compassionate side of her where she will uphold the law without having the blind loyalty towards Vayne, but she paid for it with her life. One can also imagine how long it took to create such detailed pieces of armor while keeping it on brand with the armor of the Empire. It was quite impressive. The Gambit system lets players pre-program their party's actions, creating what felt like automated strategy battles. But in development, this system was meant to be much bigger. Square Enix originally had planned over 200 different Gambit conditions, some of which never made the cut. One scrap Gambit allowed characters to automatically steal items from enemies under very specific conditions, such as when their HP was above a certain threshold. Others involved nuanced environmental triggers. In the end, the system was streamlined to avoid overwhelming players, but its original scope shows just how experimental the team was when designing combat. I think because of how bare bones the concept behind Gambits were, implementing the old if-then condition in programming languages, it was very cool to see it integrated in a video game setting, when the coding for it is usually done in the back end. Turning the back-end concept and showcasing it into the world was a really unique aspect of Final Fantasy XII and certainly made combat more enjoyable for me, and it didn't feel time-consuming in the slightest. Airships are central to Final Fantasy XII, but concept art and early script notes suggest they were once tied more directly to the lore of the Ocuria, the godlike beings who manipulate history. Developers originally imagined that many airships were infused with fragments of lost Ocurian technology, meaning each vessel was both a marvel of engineering and a relic of divine power. While this detail was dialed back in the final version, it reframes every airship journey as a quiet reminder of the ancient forces shaping Ivalice from the shadows. Airships are definitely seen as a futuristic technology compared to the era that it is released in, so this would have been a cool concept to explore in Ivalice. Discovering how airships were made. This would have also given us more lore behind the mysterious race that oversees the timeline of the world itself. It is also possible that the magic behind the floating city of Bajirba could have also been used in the creation of the airships, and we learn in Revenant Wings that there is a world above the lands, so there are a myriad of things that we do not know about that would have been cool to explore, and perhaps could be explored in future entries in the world of Ivalice. Espers in Final Fantasy XII are powerful otherworldly allies, but in early drafts of the story they were something far more ominous. They were originally referred to as guardian spirits and envisioned as vengeful entities tied to royal bloodlines. These beings would punish those who betrayed the natural order or corrupted their lineage. Over time, their role was softened. Instead of agents of vengeance, they became summonable allies with their own mythologies. Still, this darker concept reflects just how grim Ivalice's lore was meant to be, with summons embodying themes of fate, punishment, and power rather than just spectacle. This would also make sense as to why they were once tied to the Ocuria, as the Ocuria would have used these espers to make sure that their vision and manipulation of the time of Ivalice was upheld. There are also parallels to the Nazgul from the Lord of the Rings universe. If one of the concepts of the espers was their ties to royal bloodlines, that would reflect since the Nazgul were once men of royalty who fell into the influence of the Dark Lord with the Rings of Power. This could be a possible origin of the espers, that they could have been once royal nobles or even kings and queens themselves who were chosen by the Ocuria. They likely would have been granted powers in exchange for loyalty to the self-proclaimed gods of Ivalice. This is an interesting thought indeed. As one can see, Final Fantasy XII is more than just a game. It's a tapestry of stories, cultures, and hidden details stitched together with ordinary care. From invisible citizens shaping the flow of Rabanastre, to judges echoing real-world traditions, to airships and espers carrying traces of forgotten mythology, Ivalice rewards players who look deeper. These obscure details prove that every corner of the game has meaning, even if most of it remains beneath the surface. Which of these secrets did you find most interesting? Let us know in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden lore of your favorite games. Other than that, this is Enzo signing out, and I will see you all soon.